I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami, Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness. Great Mother speaks to those of us who are most alienated from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. Here, welcome to Great Mother Speaks to us in raw, realistic, and righteousness.
My overall sense for the full moon and the eclipse is the lyrics to that Carly Simon song, You Belong to Me, that say, you don't have to prove to me you're beautiful. I have loving eyes of my own. Of my own. You belong to me. And that's what Great Mother is saying to us, is that we don't have to prove that we are dearly loved. Those of you who are subscribers, you know that Great Mother speaks to us and operates from the divinity principles that we are dearly loved children of the Great Mother, Father God, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. And we're not getting that. We're not getting that. And so these intense times will feel like a reprimand for those of us who just refuse to believe it based on our perspective of life. Pretty much we experience life based on our perspective of it. And if you have mama drama trauma, which is what this channel is for those of you who are just tuning in, my name is Tammy Taylor. I'm an inner work life coach. This is a lunar astrologically based channel to give readings to people who are healing from a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto the child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where the mother is unwilling, unable, or unavailable to heal her own MDT, because it is a cycle, loving detachment is required in order for us to live a healthy, happy, and whole life. That is the inner work life coaching that I do. And I've been a little ghost lately because I've been doing a lot of that work. And of course I have to take care of myself, practice what I preach, which is self-mothering, self-care, which is necessary in order for us to live in loving detachment, which is accepting what is. Letting go of the mother that we want, the fantasy mother that we want her to be, the nurturing or that we wanted her to be. Sometimes she's unavailable because she's transitioned. Letting that go is a grieving process, and that grieving process is enabled through loving detachment. Loving detachment is a incremental letting go of that fantasy mother. It's an incremental letting go of the perception that she should be something other than she is, that we should receive something other than what we receive from her. And to accept the mother that we have, which is the mother of all mothers, Great Mother, who we connect with through the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, which was channeled through me through my work as an inner work life coach. My prayer when I started this work after healing my own MDT this lifetime, I've had many lifetimes of mama drama trauma with my mama, and this is the lifetime that I healed it. And so this is not for the light of heart, okay? There's a reason there are 4 people watching this video, okay? This is for people who are ready to resurrect within this lifetime, to be reborn. We're born first through our birth mother, and through healing mama drama trauma, we are reborn to live the life our soul came here to live, to evolve and be. The evolutionary lesson of the soul contract of MDT, the MDT soul contract between ourselves and our mother, our father as well, is part of this soul group for this contract, is to support the mutual evolution in self-love and spiritual independence. Okay, it is through the neglect and rejection of our mother that souls learn or are coerced into loving themselves, because that is the only way we will experience love this lifetime, is by loving ourselves, because until we do that, we cannot experience love. Okay, we can't experience. We may have love available to us. People may be loving on us, grandmas, other mothers, aunties, teachers, neighbors, nieces, children may be loving on us, husbands, wives, loving on us. But we won't experience it as love, which is what is happening now. The planets are aligning in such a way, and we talk about planets. Those of you who have not gotten the memo yet, we are made of stardust. Okay, and so we're made of the same things as the planets, and so of course they affect us because that's what we're made up of. Just as it's the molecular, actually the anatomical substance that we're made of. The same thing that Saturn and Pluto, the same stuff. The hydrogen, the nitrogen combo is the same within us, and so it's a unique mix of those elements, which is what I call our unique cosmic calculus, which is where the readings come from, is this unique cosmic calculus based on Vedic or Jyotish, the science of light, the science of that light coming through us to manifest in physical form, that light of the sun, great father energy, which in Vedic astrology is our soul. So with no further ado, that's the general message for this full moon in Scorpio in the Vedic. It's in Sagittarius in the Western. The eclipse is in Cancer in the Western, and it is in Gemini in the Vedic, coming up July 2nd. It is a solar eclipse, which means Great Mother Moon is eclipsing the sun, is covering the sun. And so she's covering the sun with this wisdom that has come to me for all of us to understand that we don't have to prove that we're beautiful. When we are devoid of love or feeling loved, we always feel that we have to prove that we're lovable. I need more likes. I need more followers. I need more co-signers that I'm valid, to affirm that I am. If we are, the more we engender that kind of mentality into our system, into our energetic system, our divine system, the more we experience that, and the less we experience love, because we are trying to control what love is. This is the first deck, the old deck, by the way. Still getting the new one printed. I don't know, I might juxtapose some of the new cards into this deck. I'm so proud of that deck that's going to be coming out. This eclipse season is about Great Mother eclipsing the energy that says we have to go according to these regimented, externalized definitions of what is lovable, what is worthy, what is worthy to be loved. We don't have to prove that. We don't have to align with something, especially with what our mothers may be saying that we have to be in order to be loved. When we have mama drama trauma, that's what we do. We always are trying to do that. So, all right. You don't have to prove to me you're beautiful. I have loving eyes of my own. She has loving eye that is within us. And so that is our moon sign, how we feel, how we react to things, what we believe, and our memories, our imaginative space, which is where we get our intuitive downloads. It's very difficult for people who are extremely traumatized to distinguish between the neurotic voice of the abandonment and abuse in this imaginative space and the loving voice of Great Mother. And so let me clarify that for you so that you know, as she speaks to you through these readings, I don't know what she's going to say beyond you don't have to prove that you're beautiful, that she sees your beauty, which means that your soul within you knows that you're beautiful already. And if it doesn't, and you're not experiencing, feeling divine love, these experiences that are coming to you that seem to contrast that divinity are just coming as opportunities for you to shift your perspective. What in this experience, what in this relationship in which I'm being abandoned and I'm being abused is showing me that I need to shift my perspective of what a loving relationship should be. What is it teaching me? Is it teaching me that I need to focus on being with someone who is more encouraging because I'm experiencing discouragement? I'm experiencing judgment and condemnation. And so is this showing me that I need to shift? You know, if I'm in a work situation where my ideas, my creativity is not being taken into account, is it because I need to articulate them better? Maybe I need to take someone aside that is influential in this situation and kind of quiz them and ask them, what is it that I can do to be of more contribution based on my gifts, my talents, and my abilities? Sometimes we think that, you know, we have something going on, we got it going on, and we do in many regards oftentimes, but people aren't interpreting it that way just because it needs to be shifted in how it's being delivered, or the space in which we are delivering it needs to be shifted. We're dearly loved. We're never judged, condemned, or left alone. Never. And so it's always a matter of being open to shifting our perspective, shifting our emotions. You know, it's a real popular phrase now, a mood. It's a whole mood. Yeah, I mean, that's nothing new. I mean, whenever the moon moves, Great Mother energy moves, it's a mood. And so this mood is Scorpio. And so what is Scorpio? Scorpio is all about rebirth and regeneration. Rebirth and regeneration for you and your Vedic moon sign. Look at the calculator below. It's going to be where Great Mother is speaking most deeply to you in your soul space about how she is expressing love to you now, how the energies are supporting you now. Neptune is going retrograde this full moon, along with what is already retrograde, Saturn and Jupiter. And so we have all of our outer planets retrograde, which means that the creative, sustaining, and destructive forces are at play. And they're at play on a planetary level, which we already know, but the actual confirmation of that through these retrogrades of the outer planets is showing us that, Saturn is on the border there, and Uranus is not retrograde, but it's Pluto. Well, let me see. Pluto and Saturn are conjunct in the South Node, okay? And Saturn and Jupiter are retrograde right now, okay? And so Jupiter is basically kind of amplifying this retrograde. That's what I'm feeling. It's amplifying the retrograde of Neptune and Saturn, okay? That's what I'm trying to say, because Uranus and Pluto are not retrograde. So this amplification of this intensity of being clear about what it is you want to sustain moving forward. What from everything that you have experienced, what from everything you have known love to be and that you have learned you need to feel in order to feel divinely loved. In order for you to feel that you are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, what frame of mind do you need to be in? Based on what you've learned about that, that is what this full moon and this eclipse is going to support you in shifting into. And so it's important that you are aware that that is what's happening. That's what's happening right now, is that you wake up to what you have learned, especially over the last 2 years since the major solar eclipse, August 2017, the world stopped to watch. That was in Washington State, in Leo, in both the Vedic and the Western. Very powerful me energy. You've had the opportunity with that eclipse to learn that what is it that I need to feel loved? Leo is ruled by the sun. Okay, the soul in Vedic, it was in Leo in the Western and the Vedic. So you should know by now what it is that you need to feel love. And we do know there's been a lot of tumult in families across the planet since then, and groups and political organizations and everything. And so we want to be sure that we take that awareness into account, what we've learned, and realize that the intensification of energy now is supporting us in shifting our perspective to align with what we've learned so that we can experience that love that Great Mother already has for us, and to feel that we are dearly loved and those loving eyes on us. So hope you enjoy your reading. Thanks so much for supporting, and remember to sign up for your moon sign reading for your personal eclipse message from Great Mother. Okay, Sagittarius moon sign people, this is 12th house energy for you. This full moon, you are currently in your 7-year period of Sati Sati, so you're just kind of getting underway with kind of this wheel churning to a halt rather in your life, and feeling emotionally blocked in so many regards. And so right now, what is coming up for you to feel loved is a need to establish boundaries in your life. What is okay and what is not okay in your life at this particular time is particularly important, with the eclipse being the new moon happening on July 2nd. This is a new moon gut chakra card. Trusting your gut, trusting that instinctual, visceral, emotional response that you have to situations, people, and things in your life. Things, even inanimate objects that surround your space, occupy your space, things that do not feel that they are giving you life, giving you energy, really need to be disposed of at this time in your life, is what I'm getting, because it's draining you. You don't need to be drained right now. You have a good 6.5 years of a period in which Saturn, which is retrograde right now, is going to be churning on really what's important to you. And I find that working with the inanimate, with the inconsequential first, gives us a lot of energetic fuel to deal with those things that are closest to us emotionally. Now, you have Scorpio in your moon yoga as well as Cancer. Scorpio is how you download what you are feeling with this Sagittarius moon, and so you feel things very deeply. The Scorpio energy, of course, is what the full moon is in the Vedic, and so on a soul level, you are downloading very deeply that there is reward for boundaries. So many of you have already cut off a lot of people, cut off a lot of situations. You're very clear about what is okay and what is not okay with your life. This Sati Sati is well underway in your life, and you are feeling the rewards of doing that already with the Ra card here. Now, this is a waxing gibbous third eye card. This is all about refining your intuition, and you have been doing that. Those of you who are just realizing that in order for you to establish and maintain boundaries, you need to do that, this is a confirmation for you to do that, to really get clear about that intuition, because we see Ra is third eye and Durga, boundaries, the Hindu goddess, is gut chakra energy. Now, we're all gods and goddesses, and so what allows us to make that hero's journey that we have as divine children, from transitioning from MDT identity to divine identity, which is what truly makes us embrace that divinity, is aligning our gut, our lower visceral responses, with our higher intuitive knowing that we are truly loved. And that is our perspective of life. No matter what we experience, we interpret our experiences that way. What's blocking you from being able to do that at this time is that there's still some challenges to opening up to that in some areas at this time as it relates to your heart. Really how you feel loved, really how you feel non-judged, non-condemned, and really how you feel with your angels, your guides, and your ancestors. Are you really feeling them present with you? There's a blockage for many of you with regard to that, but you are willing to open up. This is the card that is the opening card. It's also the breaking card. Some of you who may not be willing, again, your perspective may be such that you're experiencing the supportive energies that are allowing you to open up as your heart breaking. Some of you, your heart is breaking with regard to the boundaries that you are establishing or that you need to establish right now. Some of us are still very resistant to that. Again, Saturn is going, and Pluto in the South Node, it's going to help us. So we can experience it as a resistance of still trying to control the process, or we can experience it as a divine child who is interpreting what we're experiencing, what we're feeling, what we intuitively know as being a reward, and saying, thank you, I couldn't have done it by myself. I really needed that out of my life. I really needed that situation. Really needed that person out of my life. I know that I did. My soul knows that I did. I'm revising my whole situation. Thank you so much. It's up to us. What you want is to be well. You want to feel that all is well in your heart. And so these two heart cards are really working together. We have the revision and we have the illumination. You want full illumination about this heart opening, this heart breaking experience, this situation, which is what Great Mother is coming through and confirming for you. It's your choice, Sagittarius moon sign people, how you experience it. How you download it is very deeply Scorpio. How you experience it is that Sagittarius moon, that sage. You already know, and you're always rewarded for trusting what you know, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is what your soul is wanting to experience in this process, the second chakra energy. It's, why it wants to establish boundaries is because it's feeling victimized. Okay, it's feeling the Sedna energy. It's feeling like it's really needing to plant seeds that honor its desires, the soul's true desires. It's wanting to honor those true desires of your soul. And so that's why it wants this full illumination to come through, this full moon. Okay, and so this is new moon. And so the full moon, what's coming up for you is this desire, and the new moon, the eclipse, are those boundaries. The eclipse is really going to show you what needs to be cut if it hasn't already been cut from your life. Now, what's supporting you in this process is androgyne energy. This is a law card. It's first quarter energy. It's all about that divine expression, that soul wanting to express itself. And so if you haven't had a reading from me, a moon sign reading about what your soul is wanting to come through, what your Atma Karaka is really saying about your purpose, your dharma in life, your relationships, all of that, you might want to have that during this eclipse season so that you really get a sense of what this divine expression is that's coming through to support you right now, to feel a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who's never judged, condemned, or left alone. Because your present state of ego soul alignment is that you are surrendering to it. But if you don't know what you're surrendering to, it's kind of hard to, it's not hard because you are using your intuition. And when you're using your intuition, it's easier in the sense that you have clarity about what you're surrendering to. When we're not using our intuition and we're not feeling the rewards, we have that resistance, that heart breaking as opposed to opening. Again, yin and yang, where are you with this? Because what's supporting you with this is more heart chakra energy. This is first quarter energy of choosing to face the challenge of establishing those boundaries that need to be established, that the eclipse is going to come through and make very clear if it hasn't already. Your ego soul alignment is telling you, hey, it's time to make the decision, or many of you have already made the decision to surrender to it. Some of you know what you're surrendering to in terms of the soul expression and soul purpose, and some of you don't, which is why I particularly invite you, Sagittarius moon sign people, to do it, because the Capricorn energy is how you process your emotions, okay? And so that is Capricorn energy, which is ruled by Saturn. Okay, and so Saturn being retrograde and in the South Node or in K2 right now is really challenging you in terms of how you're processing information, to be truthful with yourself, to have integrity with yourself. Now, again, this integrity deals with feeling victimized and this is why your soul is really wanting to establish boundaries, is because it's over being mistreated by others. It's over not being appreciated by others. It's over that. That optimism, the emotional optimism is kind of blocked. It's kind of drained because Sati Sati is Saturn in your moon sign, in your yogas. And so in actual fact, I said a year and a half. You've been in it since Saturn was in Scorpio, as a matter of fact, because it starts when it's in your 12th house. And so, you're actually 2 years into it, and so good, because now you only have 5 instead of 6, but years left of the Sati Sati. But yeah, Saturn in Scorpio over the last 2 years has really drilled down on your understanding of your boundaries and your relationship to people, what your gifts are, and really what you want to give. And so with that clarity, how your soul wants to deal with boundaries that are coming up this eclipse is by making the decision to face whatever challenge you have to face, because you're over it. You're over it. You're ready for this new flush of energy, this new feeling of true divinity, of embracing being a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God, who is never judged or condemned. You're ready to do that. There's a challenge. And your soul knows that there are challenges, and you're doing that because the voice of expression, which is ruled by Mercury, has been challenged to make that transition. You've been doing your relationships, you've been doing your perspective in a particular way up to now, and you're turning a corner, which is always a challenge. And so your desire is to feel well, for all to be well this full moon. But realize the heart chakra is the crossroads between the ego and the soul. The soul begins to be expressed again through what we speak. As above, so below. We speak our experience into existence through chakra energy ruled by Mercury. And for you, mercurial energy is this Gemini energy that is opposing your moon sign. This Gemini energy is the north node in the Vedic. Okay, right now your moon sign is the south node. And so Mars just came through. And so that was a real intense emotional time for you, because the simpatico energy, Gemini Sagittarius, with Saturn retrograde in your moon sign, you in Sati Sati, conjunct Pluto, which is all about transformation. Pluto in the Vedic is more than about transformation, though. It's really about an energy. It's an energy of the energy is really all about coercing the ego to align with the soul. Period, and point blank, end of story. It is, that's his job, is to drill down on the ego. And so you have this going on emotionally, where you're having to really look at the ego and what you really want and what you really don't want. This is directly related to boundaries. This is directly related to the soul work that your soul is calling forward for you to pay attention to this eclipse, this new moon, July 2nd. It's about you being able to establish boundaries, which are about what's okay and what's not okay in real time. What was okay and what was not okay a few months ago, particularly a year and 2 years ago, is not okay now. But you're still speaking the way you used to talk. You're still interacting with people the way you used to interact. You haven't changed because you haven't faced the challenge yet, many of you. And that's hard without guidance and without direction. That's why I invite all of you to participate in the support group. Our Sunday night groups are full. We don't do more than 4 or 5 participants. It's very private. It's very intimate, where we get personalized guidance on how to grieve that mama drama trauma, and tools on how to make the transition, how to avoid missteps, which we invariably make anyway, but we have some clarity about our surrendering process. So Monday nights are still open, to book for the Mama Drama Trauma Support Group at greatmotherspeaks.info. Just go to bookings, and at the bottom you see the support group. They're free. It's a phone call. It's a Zoom group meeting. Because those of you who are consciously facing this challenge, this full moon, you may not experience it as wellness, but I invite you to shift your perspective to do so. And how that kind of detail is what's covered in the group meetings, how you do that. Don't have time to do that here. I barely have time to do these readings. Okay. Having done that, your final outcome is Hecate. Hecate is, crescent moon, throat chakra energy. It's planting new seeds based on a decision to, this is not first quarter moon, which is about a decision, which is what Sphinx is about, making a decision. Crescent is about planting a seed. This is planting a new seed, throat chakra seed of, this is throat chakra 2, this Mercury, Gemini, Simpatico. You're moving into this space of which is what the eclipse is in the Vedic, in Gemini. You're moving into this space where the crossroads. Some of you really need support. Whether you get it from me or someone else, you're at a crossroads that is going to determine the balance of your sati experience and your life right now. No joke. Because the energies that are active right now are rewiring you, or rewiring your emotional space. And the crossroads is whether you are going to embrace your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, and work with the energies to shift your perspective to do that, and use that sage determination, that optimism, and invest in that moving forward with challenges that invariably will come in your life, and invariably experience your divinity as a result. Or say, I don't know, it's too much. I'm just overwhelmed, and whatever happens is going to happen. Now, this is where we see the eternal grace and mercy of the cosmos, because in that situation, you still are going to have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make this decision. It's just that the energies will be different than they are now. They won't be as powerful with regard to actually being able to line up your boundaries the way you need them lined up now after what you've learned over the last 2 years. It'll be a different energy. It may not be so much about your boundaries and your gut chakra, which is where Scorpio resides. The gut chakra is ruled by Mars, which rules Scorpio and Aries. And so this is very powerful energy to support you with regard to boundaries now, which Great Mother is saying you need this now. This is the crossroads for this now. But even if you don't, you will have support in experiencing the ego even more, and what it has to offer you in terms of not fully accepting your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, and there being situations, relationships, circumstances brought to you to show you over and over and over again you are not worthy of being happy, healthy, and whole. Until you get to a point where you're willing to embrace the energies that are available at whatever given time over the next 5 years or the rest of your life that will support you in whatever house of experience. Gut chakra is all about, of course, first house, 8th house energy traditionally. For you, it's first house, 6th house energy, boundaries. Yeah. Because you already have the birthright. And if you don't decide to accept it at this particular time, the crossroads will be that the seed won't be planted. It'll be planted in another season. There will be another season that it will be planted. But it will be planted eventually. It will be planted eventually in a different way, which we will find out at a different time. But for those of you who do take advantage of it and do trust that you are being rewarded by facing this challenge to believe in your divinity, you will have a huge thrust forward that you may not actually feel or experience until around September, October, when the planets go direct. We are in a holding pattern right now. Okay, so let's get a little clarity from the Archangel Power Deck. Angel Power Deck. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, Archangel Power Deck. Okay. 5 of Raphael. Everything happens for a reason. Release, regret, and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. So 5 of Cups is this is an interesting rendition of 5 of Cups, which in the traditional tarot are the 2 people outside of the church that are not accepting help. But this girl looks like she is definitely accepting help. And so clarification here is accept help. Accept help. Accept the gifts that are being offered to you right now. Accept this confirmation from Great Mother. The angels are telling you, search for the silver lining in this period of perhaps excruciating emotional tumult for you. You are experiencing a very powerful energy with this 7th house energy going on, with Gemini being in the North Node and your opposing moon sign where the eclipse is occurring. Okay, so in your Western, more than likely, you are Capricorn with the Cancer in the North Node, which is really activating your emotions toward how you feel about your birth mother, about your birth land, your birth home, about your physical home, about feeling at home in your own skin, about your comfort zone. So there's help available to you to amplify that comfort zone at this time. And Great Mother saying all you have to do, and your angels are on behalf of Great Mother sending you confirmation. Receive it. Sign up. I know the sage is used to knowing, the sage is used to knowing, but sometimes we need help. Thanks so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Moon, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mami, and Mother Mary.
Great Mother speaks to us in raw.